Welcome back to this YouTube channel. In our previous video, we introduced the concept of number-based system, and so far we've dealt extensively with that topic. Today we'll be going a little bit further. We'll be looking at simple equations in number system. At times in number systems, the question leads to the formation of simple equations where we are required to find the value of some variables. Just like in this question, we are required to find the value of x. The question says if x, which is already in base 10, equals this value, which is in base 5, we should find x. Alright, this is simple. We have x already in base 10. All we have to do is to convert this value to base 10, and that gives us the value of x in base 10. Alright, that being said, we'll look at how we do that. Remember, we've already dealt with conversion from any base to base 10, and that principle is what we are going to apply here to get the value of x. Alright, now converting this to base 10, remember we said we apply some indices here in ascending order. We start from 0, 1, 2, 3. Alright, these are the powers that we'll be using for our expansion. Alright, so what do we have here? We have 1, so we write 1 times the base, which is 5, raised to the power, which is 3. Alright, also we have 2 as the second digit, times the base, which is 5, raised to the power of 2. Alright, the next we have 1 times the base. We always multiply by the base, which is 5, raised to this power here, which is 1. And lastly we have 4, multiplying the base, which is 5, raised to the power of 0. Alright, so we move over to the next step. X, which is in base 10, equals 1 times 5 raised to power 3. Now 5 raised to power 3 is not 5 times 3. 5 times 3 will give you 15. 5 raised to power 3 is different from 5 times 3. What 5 raised to power 3 means is 5 times 5 times 5. That is 5 multiplying itself 3 times. Alright, so that will give us 125, because 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 5 is 125. Okay, same thing happens here. We have 2 times 5 raised to power 2. Again, it's not 5 times 2, rather it's 5 times 5, which is 25. Alright, so the next thing we have 1 times 5 raised to power 1. 5 raised to power 1 is 5. And lastly we have 4 times 5 raised to power 0. Remember, from the law of indices, anything raised to power 0 is 1. So we have 1 there. Alright, next thing we have 1 times 125 gives us 125. And 2 times 5 gives us 50. Alright, 1 times 5 gives us 5. And 4 times 1 gives us 4. Alright, what's left is for us to sum this up. Now summing this up, what do we get? We have 125 plus 50, that's 175, plus 5, that's 180, plus 4, the answer is 184. Alright, so that brings us to the end of this question. We see that the value of x is 184. Simply what we did was just to convert this value, which is the value of x, to base 10, so that we can be able to relate to the value. Alright, that being said, we would move over